Have you ever opened your laptop to study, promised yourself one focused hour, and then somehow ended up checking your phone 5 minutes later? You knew the assignment mattered. You knew the exam was coming. You knew that class, that skill, or that project could change your future. But still, your brain chose distraction. This video is about why your brain keeps choosing distraction even when you genuinely want to focus. You will learn why distraction feels easier than studying, why motivation disappears when real work begins, and why most distraction does not actually start with your phone. It starts with the first uncomfortable moment of learning. By the end of this video, you will understand how to stop blaming yourself, how to recognize the exact moment your brain tries to escape, and how to build a simple system that helps you come back to focus again and again. Because focus is not something you either have or do not have. Focus is a trained response, and if your brain has been trained to escape, it can also be trained to stay. Think about the last time you sat down to study. Maybe your room was quiet. Maybe you had a plan. Maybe you even felt motivated at the beginning. But then, something small happened. The paragraph felt harder than you expected. The math problem did not make sense right away. The lecture notes looked boring. The assignment felt too big. Or maybe you simply felt tired before you even started. That tiny moment may not look important, but it is often the exact moment where distraction begins. Your brain feels discomfort, and instead of staying with it, it starts searching for an exit. Not a dramatic exit, not something that feels dangerous, just a small escape. Maybe one notification, maybe one quick scroll, maybe one message, maybe one short video in the background, maybe one check of your phone just to clear your mind. And because it feels small, you do not treat it like a serious problem. You tell yourself, I'll only check it for 1 minute. But 1 minute becomes 5. 5 becomes 20. And suddenly, the study session you promised yourself is gone. Then guilt comes in. You look at the time and think, why do I keep doing this? You feel frustrated because you actually care. You want better grades. You want better skills. You want to become more focused, more consistent, more in control. And that guilt makes you label yourself in a harsh way. You say, I'm lazy, or I have no discipline, or I just need more motivation. But that explanation is too simple, because many distracted students are not lazy. They make plans. They care about their future. They save study tips. They watch videos about productivity. They feel bad when they waste time. The real problem is often deeper than laziness. Their brain has been trained to prefer fast relief over slow progress. Your brain is not only asking, what is important? It is also asking, what feels easier right now? And most of the time, distraction feels easier. Studying gives you a delayed reward. Your phone gives you an immediate reward. Studying asks for patience. Distraction gives you quick stimulation. Studying exposes what you do not know. Distraction lets you avoid that uncomfortable feeling for a moment. This is why distraction wins so often. It is not because your phone is magically stronger than you. It is because your phone gives your brain something studying does not give immediately: comfort, novelty, and relief. When you study, your brain has to face friction. Friction means the task does not flow easily. You have to think. You have to remember. You have to solve. You have to make mistakes. You have to sit with uncertainty. And uncertainty is uncomfortable. If you are studying chemistry and you do not understand the concept, your brain does not enjoy that feeling. If you are writing an essay and the first sentence sounds bad, your brain does not enjoy that feeling. If you are learning coding and the error keeps appearing again and again, your brain does not enjoy that feeling. So, your brain looks for something easier to control. That is where distraction enters. A phone is easy to control. A short video is easy to understand. A notification gives instant feedback. A social media feed gives endless novelty. A message gives quick connection. There is no waiting, no struggle, no confusion, no deep effort. Just quick reward. And when your brain gets used to that, deep work starts to feel strange. Reading a textbook feels too slow. Solving problems feels too painful. Writing notes feels boring. Practicing a skill feels repetitive. But the problem is not that studying became impossible. The problem is that your brain has been trained to expect reward too quickly. Today, your phone gives your brain an easier option the moment studying feels uncomfortable. One path gives slow progress later, The other gives instant stimulation now, and the brain often chooses the easier reward. This is why knowing what to do is not enough. You can know that you should study. You can know that scrolling wastes time. You can know that deep work matters. You can know that your future depends on your habits. But knowledge does not automatically control behavior. Your behavior follows what your brain has practiced. If you practice escaping discomfort every day, your brain becomes good at escaping. If you practice checking your phone every time you feel bored, your brain becomes good at checking. If you practice avoiding hard tasks, your brain becomes good at avoidance. And after a while, distraction stops feeling like a decision. It starts feeling automatic. And this is dangerous because real learning almost always begins with discomfort. When you are learning something new, confusion is normal. When you are building a skill, mistakes are normal. When you are studying deeply, effort is normal. When you are improving, slow progress is normal. But if your brain thinks discomfort is a signal to escape, you will keep leaving right before growth begins. This is why some students study for hours but still do not improve much. They are physically present, but mentally they keep escaping. They open the book, then check the phone. They start the assignment, then switch tabs. They read one page, then look for another video. They begin practice, then stop when it feels difficult. They are not training focus. They are training interruption. And the sad part is, they may still feel busy. They may say, "I studied all day." But inside that day, there were hundreds of tiny escapes. This is why the goal is not just to spend more hours studying. The goal is to train your brain to stay longer with one meaningful task. So, how do you do that? First, you need to stop waiting for motivation to save you. Motivation is useful, but it is not stable. Motivation can help you start, but it cannot always help you stay. At night, you may feel inspired. You imagine a better version of yourself. You think about your goals. You feel ready to change your life. But the next morning, the same brain has to face the same boring chapter, the same difficult assignment, the same phone, the same environment, and the same old habits. That is why motivation disappears. Not because you were lying to yourself, but because motivation is an emotion, and emotions change. You need a system that still works when motivation is low, and that system starts with removing the easiest escape. Second, make the task smaller. Most students tell themselves, "I need to study," but that sentence is too vague. Your brain does not like vague tasks because vague tasks feel heavy. Instead of saying, "I will study biology," say, "I will read 2 pages and write 5 questions." Instead of saying, "I will work on math," say, "I will solve 3 problems and check my mistakes." Instead of saying, "I will learn coding," say, "I will build 1 small function and test it." A clear task gives your brain a clear path, and when the path is clear, starting feels less painful. Third, train the first moment of resistance. This is the most important part. When you feel the urge to escape, pause for just 10 seconds. Do not touch your phone immediately. Do not open another tab immediately. Do not quit immediately. Just pause and ask, what am I trying to avoid right now? Am I avoiding confusion? Am I avoiding boredom? Am I avoiding the fear of doing badly? Am I avoiding effort? Am I avoiding the uncomfortable feeling of being a beginner? This question changes everything because now distraction is no longer invisible. You can see the real trigger behind it. And once you see the trigger, you can choose a better response. If the task is confusing, make it smaller. If it is boring, set a timer for 10 minutes. If it feels too big, choose the first tiny step. If you feel tired, take a real break instead of a fake scrolling break. A real break gives your brain recovery. A fake break gives your brain more stimulation. That difference matters. Scrolling may feel like rest, but many times it does not make your brain calmer. It makes your brain more restless. You return to studying with even less patience than before. So, when you take a break, make it simple. Stand up, drink water, walk for a few minutes, look outside, stretch, breathe. Let your brain reset without feeding it more noise. Fourth, measure returns, not perfection. You will get distracted sometimes. That does not mean you failed. The real skill is not perfect focus. The real skill is returning. Your mind wanders, and you return. You lose focus, and you return. You feel the urge to escape, and you return. You get bored, and you return. Every return is a repetition. Over time, your brain learns that boredom does not mean danger, confusion does not mean failure, and effort does not mean escape. It simply means you are in the training zone. At first, this may feel small. 10 minutes of real focus, 1 page without checking your phone, 3 problems completed before opening another tab, 1 writing session where you stay even when the sentence feels bad. These small moments may not look impressive, but they are evidence. You are giving your brain proof that you can stay, proof that you can return, proof that you do not have to obey the first impulse, proof that effort is not something to fear. And slowly, your identity begins to change. You stop saying, "I am just a distracted person." You start saying, "I am learning how to come back." That matters, because in the modern world, attention is one of the most valuable skills you can build. Anyone can collect information. Anyone can save videos. Anyone can make a plan. Anyone can feel motivated for one night. But the person who can sit with one hard thing, return again and again, and practice even when the reward is slowly becomes different. They learn deeper. They improve faster. They finish what others only start. They build skills that distracted people only talk about. So, the next time your brain chooses distraction, do not just blame yourself. Ask what your brain is trying to escape. Then remove the easiest exit. Make the task smaller. Pause at the first moment of resistance. Return when your mind wanders. Repeat the process. Because focus is not something you either have or do not have. Focus is a trained response. And if your brain has been trained to escape, it can also be trained to stay. Before you leave, comment below and tell me, what distracts you the most when you try to study? Your phone, social media, overthinking, or something else? And also, tell me which country you are watching from. I want to know where my students are joining from. If this video helped you understand your brain in a different way, give it a like and share it with a friend who keeps getting distracted, even though they genuinely want to improve. Remember, distraction wins when your brain has an easier escape than the work in front of you. So do not wait to become perfectly disciplined. Build a system that makes focus easier to choose, one small moment at a time.